Good afternoon. My name is Arlene Juanico, and I come from the village of Powati, New Mexico, which is located on the Pueblo of Laguna Reservation, about 40 miles west of Albuquerque. In my village in Powati, there was once the largest open pit uranium mine, which operated from 1952 to closing of 1982 when the uranium ceased. My village suffered very traumatic by the blasting that they did every day, Monday through Friday from 12 and at 4 o'clock every day. So you can imagine all the destruction of the blasting that happened. My family, community members within a 50-mile radius, they're all suffering because of radiation exposure. Many people are walking around with the oxygen tanks or respirators, And I was a truck driver there from 1975 to 1982 when it closed. When I first got in, all of my protective gear was a hard hat, eyeglasses, earplugs, and that was it. A respirator that probably didn't fit the standards of working in a uranium mine. That was it. We had our lunch on uranium berms. We had our lunch in the buckets of heavy equipment dump loader. And then I need to express that no time did they ever tell us the dangers of radiation. Not our people knew about the dangers of radiation, which has caused so many deaths, so many illnesses, lung, kidney cancers, the uranium disease. And it's heartbreaking. And our beautiful land will never be restored, can never be restored because radon never goes away. And that's my story. There.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lawrence A. Juanico. I'm a tribal member of the Pueblo of Laguna. My clan is Little Eagle and Little Sun. And I worked at the mine also from 74 to latter part of 82. When I worked in the mines, like my wife just got through mentioning, there was no such thing as PPE, personal protective equipment. We went in there not knowing the dangers of radiation exposure. And everybody knows what radiation exposure can do to the body without knowing what could happen. We went in there blind, you might say. I worked as a heavy equipment operator myself, and I've seen the dangers of radiation. I was exposed to it directly. I mined it out of the earth, our Mother Earth. I took something out which wasn't even supposed to be disturbed. Our forefathers and our ancestors told us at one time, don't ever disturb our Mother Earth because there's some things that will happen. Look at what's happening now. One of the things that we're dealing with is radiation pertaining to all us miners. And I'm mentioning everybody, all us miners. We were dealt the hand that was given to us by what's happening now. I worked there and I seen it. Like I said, I worked as an operator. And after the mine shut down, I was transferred to the mill site. And at the mill site, which was a place where they refined everything I extracted from our Mother Earth, I've seen it come out of the ground. I've seen it go from the raw material to high grade, to yellow cake. I suppose all of you know what yellow cake is. I dealt with it. I seen it made. When I worked there, I guess you might say I was one of them that got the bad end of it too, because right now I'm dealing with what my father was dealing with. He worked in the mines also. and he passed away from pulmonary fibrosis. And right now, that's what I was dealt with. Now I'm dealing with that. And you know, I take it one day at a time. One day at a time is all everybody can do now. Is take it. Take it and see where we end up at. But with God willing, I hope everybody listens to what we're trying to get across to everybody. Getting back to the mill site, I was even exposed to more toxic materials. You mentioned it, they have a bunch of chemicals that are all listed on one page, 2, 3 pages. Every one of those chemicals I was exposed to. And there was no such thing as PPE either up where I was working at in the mill site. Nothing. We went in there blind again. So I was dealt a double shot. I've seen the final product came out. I was one of them that prepared that for shipment to different places. I packed that in 55-gallon barrels out of they call these things giant vat shakers. I packed that stuff in barrels. I've seen it, and I've seen the damage it's done to a lot of my friends, my close friends, real close friends. As a matter of fact, there was one guy I remember, he was close to us too. He was part of our organization. He was one of them that really wanted this thing to be passed. He fought the gallant fight, you might say. But in the long run, it finally caught up to him. And we all have grandkids. We all have kids, you know, grandkids, especially the little ones. I have a grandson. His name is Daniel. He was a baby when and I raised him. Excuse me. Right now, he depends on me. What I tell him. Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. So, I just hope everybody listens to what we're trying to get across to all the kids, all the parents, grandparents, all our friends, relatives, neighbors. People up in Washington, they got to hear our stories too of what we're going through, what we're suffering with, what we're dealing with. I hope this gets as far as to open up their ears to listen to us.
When we went to Washington, we were in a press conference, and I told the people that, you know, we pledged the allegiance to the flag, right? And what is the last 3 words of our allegiance? Is justice for all. So I pray that we get that justice. Okay, thank you.